All right, so what I want to know is, tell me about a time that you can't forget that something spiritually happened with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, James, I have had so many spiritual experiences, but I'll tell you one that I had, I guess it was maybe 20 years ago. I had worked late one night, and I remember it was in March, and it was cold, and it had rained that day, and I was on 495 going home.
Mm.
And my guide, Suna, said, get off on Braddock Road. And I'm like, I'm not getting off on Braddock Road. It's because you get off on Braddock Road, then that takes you to 123.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, 123 was just a two-lane highway, one road up, one road down. But he was insistent. He said, get off on Braddock Road.
Yeah, get
And
your ass off the road.
exactly. And
No, I
I'm
got
just
you.
like, I'm not doing that. But guess what? You know, I ended up getting off on Braddock Road, and I got on 123, and it's just this narrow highway, and it's about this much shoulder on each side of the road. Well, I get on 123, and lo and behold, Murphy's Law, I get a flat tire. And I'm like, God damn. So I pull off the road as far as I can. And once I did that, I took my hands like this, and I put them around the top of the steering wheel, and I put my head down like this, and I said, oh my God, I need some help. And as I had my forehead resting on my hands, I heard a knock on the window like that. And I was afraid to raise my head and turn my head like this to see who in the world is knocking on the window, because there is no one in sight.
Yeah.
So I roll the window down just a little tiny bit, and there was this guy standing outside the driver's side, and he said, ma'am, we got a call that you needed some help.
Mm.
So then I looked through my mirror.
Yeah, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Exactly. I looked through the mirror, and there was a VDOT truck behind me. Now, I don't know where he came from. I did not see him pull up. I had only been sitting there less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And even if I had called for help, I think it would have taken more than 5 minutes. But then this calm came over me. And I said, okay. So I got out of my vehicle. I handed him my keys. He said, why don't you go sit in my truck and keep warm, and I'll get this done in no time. Well, I went and did that. So once he had finished changing the tire, I went back to my vehicle. I got in the car, and I shut the door, and I went to fasten my seatbelt like this. And when I went to look through the rearview mirror, there was nobody there.
God damn, motherfucker, gone.
And I knew that it was an angel
Mm-hmm.
that had come to my aid. And I've had so many experiences like this throughout my entire life that I don't even think I can list them all.
No, I
But
got you. No, I feel
yeah, but it's just it was just a sign to me that I'm on the right path, and by accepting what had just occurred.
got you. And I know, just from my personal experience, I feel like I don't know, is it lineage? Like something with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the shit that's going on with you or what you've been experiencing your whole life, it trickles down to your kids, goddammit.
Yes, I know.
Because I be going through some weird ass shit my damn self. But I also remember David talking about some purple lady. Do you remember something?
Yes.
What's that about?
Your brother. Okay. Well, when David was a baby, I would when he really first started to to articulate and talk, he would always talk about the Purple Lady. And I remember one time your dad was going to the store and he had David in the back seat in a car seat. And your brother had turned all the way around like this in the car seat, and he was in full-blown conversation with someone. And I'm listening to your dad talk, but I'm also watching David out the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
And so your dad had to run back in the house for something. So I went over to the car. I opened up the back seat. I opened up the door to the back seat. And I said, David, who are you talking to? And like a child, he says, I'm talking to the Purple Lady, Mom.
I'm talking to Barney, Ma. Barney.
And so, so then I realized that David was having spiritual conversations with an angel, and purple and violet is like the highest form of energy that exists in the universe. Because remember when we were talking about beginning souls, intermediate souls, upper intermediate, and advanced? Well, those souls also emit a certain aura. And so beginning souls, their auras are white. Intermediate souls, their auras are yellow. Mm-hmm. Upper intermediate souls, their auras are a goldish color. Advanced souls are blue, and anything above advanced goes into that very, very higher realm. So angels probably have that violet, purple color like Jesus.
Yeah. That's deep, man.
Because you're an upper intermediate soul,
yeah.
and your aura is the color of the tint of your glasses.
Well, I'm about Bruce Leroy and the Last Dragon. I am. No, I guess.
And the other thing too is because I'm an advanced soul, their auras are blue, and I realized that 95% of the items in my closet are all navy blue. Even navy blue or black. So
you're wearing blue right now.
Exactly, and I'm wearing blue right now. And I find that and you had asked me a question about how do you know when you are evolving from beginning to intermediate to da 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 da. Mm-hmm. I think your whole personality change and resonates with your aura, if that makes sense.
Somewhat. Can you just break it down just for a few?
Well, what I'm saying is that like when you're a beginning soul, and this is just hypothetical, I'm just hypothetically speaking. I'm saying that like when you're a beginning soul, you may wear a lot of white, or you gravitate toward things that are white. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I know when I was in school, they broke down color theory. Mm-hmm. Color theory is like you could tell a lot about somebody based off the colors they wear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like a subconscious thing. Like if you're feeling like with your moods or whatever.
Yes,
people,
like red is depicted as harboring.
Yeah, it's like a dominance
of,
and this.
Yeah, anger and stuff. But on the soul level, the colors are white and yellow and gold and blue and purples. From the soul level. So like when you go home to the other side, because this is not our home, okay? Mm-hmm. So, and we're all alien to the planet. So when you go home and when you go to your soul group, then the majority of the souls in your primary soul group are probably all upper intermediate souls, and that aura color will resonate with them, if that makes sense.
No, I get it.
Yeah. So and when you come, and another thing I was going to say is that, and when you go home, when souls come to greet you, to cross you over, you can look at their auras and have an understanding of where they are on the learning curve, just by knowing what the hues are, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. So, real quick, what are some signs that you can name off the top of your head that correlate with a spirit near you or in your presence?
A couple things. Like earlier, you had mentioned that you're outside,
Mm-hmm.
and we all have walked past or near a spider web.
Yeah.
But then you go and you're doing this to get it exactly to get it off, and then you realize that there's no spider web.
Yeah.
Well, your guides are standing this close up on you, and they're blowing on you, and it makes you feel like there's a spider web on you. That's one sign for your guides. Another thing too is, like, you can be busy doing something. You could be reading, working on a computer or whatever, and all of a sudden you will feel the back of the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you jump like this because you feel the presence of someone's energy around you. Another thing, a really good one, is cold spots. So you can become chilled,
Yeah.
or you can walk through a chill spot, and you'll know that there's someone there.
Gosh.
But it's all about it's all about the perception of what you're experiencing.
So when it comes to like talking to him, like, how do we talk to like this? Do I talk to him like, "Hey, spirit, are you near?
Well,
can you help me hit the lottery numbers, goddamn?"
Well, one thing, because I talk to so many people and I try to share with them who their guides are and give them their names, you can just open up and talk to them. You know, even though you may not hear them speaking back to you, depending on where you are on your learning curve, but you can talk to your guides anytime because they're always listening.
And that's why it's important to pay attention to the signs, because I know for me at times, I remember just, you know what I'm saying, recently too, like I remember just really just going through this transformation. I feel the transformation. I'd have like a lot of synchronicities, like a lot of like deja vus and shit like that, and I would feel some kind of way. And then I would know they would try to be contacting me based off of like, I would always see butterflies. Like I would be outside, and then it's like I've learned to like you can like summon shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, butterflies. The other thing too is feathers.
Mm-hmm.
If you see feathers on, like you're walking and you see a feather and it's in your immediate vicinity, then that's like your guardian angel or your guide has left a calling sign for you.
Shit, niggas leave a bag of weed. I left you an ounce, nigga. Really? Thank you, Thomas. Like, nah, I get
Right.
you. Nah.
But you just said something about deja vu.
Yeah.
And I think people don't really understand what deja vu is. But the last thing you get to do before you are implanted in your mother's womb is that you get to look at your life before you live it. Now, you don't see your whole life, but you see great sections of your life. And I always like to explain it like this. Like, you know how you get in the pool, or when you were young, or even maybe when people are older, but you get in a pool, you're swimming, and you're underwater,
And you just open
and
your
you
eyes.
open up your eyes, and you see how I can't say the word murky the water is, but you can still see. So when you get to look at your life before you live it, it's kind of like that. So when you have a deja vu moment, what you're remembering is what you're remembering is what you remember seeing when you looked at your life before you were implanted in your mother's womb. And they could be, and the deja vu moments could be based on something that you need to learn at that moment.
Yeah. So basically you gotta be mindful of what's going on.
Yes.
And what you're doing and whatnot. Nah, I get that, man. So, all right, that's about it. I just wanted to ask you that shit right there. You know what I mean? Get your input on what was, you know what I'm saying, experience for you, dabble into, because I know David's whole thing is, because I know David, you know what I'm saying, like just from growing up, man, like a lot of people say he was a great dude. Yeah, he do fucked up shit, but you know what I'm saying, like I'll have conversations with him, and it's like he'll be telling me about a lot of the shit, and it's like when I was younger, I didn't understand. I'm like, damn, what the fuck going on with him? But as I grew spiritually, and I, you know what I'm saying, it's different for everybody. So it's like I grew spiritually, and I would have my own experience. So I'm like, I know if I'm going through this, let me ask my brother. So I'd ask him, and he has his own little testimony. So it's different for everybody. I really feel like that you can't really just like pinpoint your exact experiences with mine, because yet again, it's all based off, like you said, what we perceive and all the shit that we go through. And if my spirit guides are really trying to leave me some hints, please drop some money, goddamn it. You know a nigga broke, like nigga, just drop 100. There's about 500 on the ground. Man, I got a car note to pay. No, but that's about it, man. We're gonna wrap this up, man. But,